All right, and we are live. What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to a live stream with the Record Spinner. In today's live stream, I am going to be doing a vinyl haul covering most of the records that I got within November and December of 2018. Now, I said most because if you follow my channel, within that 2-month span, I did some videos covering some other records that were newly released, such as unboxings, and I showcased some other things. Those are excluded from the stream. If you want to peel back on my channel and check those videos out, please go right ahead. But it's kind of an attempt to make this haul not go as long as the hauls normally go. Vintage Vinyl Vets, hello, how you guys doing? So anyways, enough of the chit-chat. Let's jump into what this haul is all about. We're going to start off with a bang right here. This artist celebrated their 50th anniversary this past year around October, November-ish kind of. And I was kind of feeling celebratory. I decided to pick this up. Didn't really drop in price. It was just something that I was really itching to get for some time. And I think you guys can probably assume what this artist is that I'm talking about. It is Led Zeppelin's Mothership. This is a 4 LP box set, which is essentially the very best of Zeppelin. Pressed beautifully on heavyweight vinyl. Pretty much covers, the most, classic stuff from this band's career. This is a recent version that came out back in 2015. If you remember, the 2007 version, there was all kinds of hoopla over the mastering, compression, and whatnot. But this version here actually uses the newer 2014, 2015 remasters that Jimmy Page was looking after when he was doing the Led Zeppelin catalog. And it also comes with a nice booklet as well. Each album comes in their own individual sleeve with members of the band. But yeah, this is an excellent collection, and if you're a Zeppelin fan, you ought to have this. Excellent, excellent. And up next is a record that I actually got with some Amazon credit that I got, because let's just say, when I received the Mothership box, I was not too pleased with how they packaged it, and quite literally, they sent the box as was with a shipping label on top, which was just absolutely ridiculous. I didn't raise hell, but I pretty much called the Amazon representative up that I was able to contact and just be like, please package your stuff a little better. And because of that, they gave me like a $10 courtesy credit, and I'm like, all right, well, that can go towards something. And around that time, this next artist that I'm going to feature reissued their entire studio catalog onto vinyl for the first time. Not for the first time, but it's been reissued for the first time. And I would say definitely long overdue, and this is the one that I definitely gravitated to the most. This is System of a Down's Toxicity. This is the band's second album, and probably their most notable one because it does feature tracks like Chop Suey, the title track Toxicity, Aerials, and there's also some really other cool songs like Prison Song and Forest as well. This is a fantastic reissue. Really glad that they went ahead and redid the catalog because this is an artist that was definitely deserving of vinyl reissue campaign. And definitely am excited to check out some of their other albums. I am fond of some of their other songs and other material, but this is the one that I wanted to go to the most. So excellent, excellent to have this. And up next are some records that I got from a recent record store trip that I went with a friend of mine. We went to this, I can't remember what the name of the record store was. It was in, crap, it's not ringing a bell in my head. I do apologize. If it comes to mind, I will definitely feature it in this video. So we went there, and then we went to a Barnes & Noble in Deptford. And so I picked up some really cool stuff. And this first one I'm going to showcase was the one major LP that I got at the first record store. And that is Wings' Greatest. This is a compilation of assorted Wings material as well as some solo Paul McCartney stuff. It's rather bare bones compilation. You do get tracks like Silly Love Songs, Live and Let Die, Junior's Farm, Band on the Run, things like that. But it's interesting because, like I mentioned, it does feature some Paul McCartney solo tunes like Another Day and Hi Hi Hi, Uncle Albert. So it's rather interesting how this is sequenced. This came out fairly recently back onto vinyl, along with some other McCartney stuff. But the cool thing here, and I'll showcase it because it is so dang cool, is it does come with a poster. And this is probably my favorite side of the poster, which features Paul, Linda, and Denny Laine. And yeah, this was a really, really fun listen. I am aware that 2 Wings albums were reissued recently, Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway, and I am definitely curious on checking those out at some point. And just this compilation alone kind of got me a little bit more excited to check out some of the other Wings stuff that's out there. And now we're on to the records that I got at Barnes & Noble. This first one is one that has been on my horizons for a very long time. And it was one of those cases where, like, I saw it and I'm like, you know what? I think I need to, because this record is so awesome and I really wanted to have something to remember the day by. I went ahead and picked up this amazing record here. This is Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous. This is a live album which came out back in 1978. Classic Thin Lizzy stuff on this. You have Jailbreak, Dancing in the Moonlight, Massacre, one of my personal favorites. The version of Still in Love with You is absolutely breathtaking. This is a Rhino reissue, which came out as part of their Rocktober campaign from 2017, I believe. And both LPs are pressed on nice 180-gram red vinyl, which is absolutely nice. And the sound's actually very good as well. So if you're not aware of this pressing, I do recommend it very, very much. See if I can get this back in without crinkling the sleeve I have it in. There we go. And since it's out of the sleeve, comes with a nice gatefold featuring all kinds of photos from the shows. And yeah, just an absolutely awesome, awesome album. And this is the first Thin Lizzy album that I have in my vinyl collection, and I definitely do want to get more of their stuff. So I think this is a rather good starting point. And up next is the last album that I got at Barnes & Noble. And surprisingly enough, considering the band that this artist was in is one of my top favorites, I have never listened fully to this album until now. And it's a real shocker. I feel like I'm really late to the party. But it was just one of those things that, like, once I got the vinyl version, I would listen to it, and I loved it upon first listen. I knew exactly what I was in for, but it's just a shocker that I waited so long to get into it. This is David Gilmour's On an Island. This is a solo album that he did back in 2006. Classic stuff on here. You have the title track, On an Island, which is one of my favorites on here. The Blue, Take a Breath is good, Smile. This is just a beautiful, beautiful album. In a way, kind of like a sort of long-lost Pink Floyd record, because, yeah, David Gilmour's on it, but then you also have Richard Wright giving some nice keyboard textures. Comes with a very nice, vibrant gatefold sleeve with David there, and his wife, Polly Sam. I think it's Polly Sampson, I believe. Dude, we love On an Island. So did I. I know you guys also got the Live and Gdansk 4LP box, and that's actually very, very valuable, so you guys are lucky to have that. This comes with a nice double-sided poster. Hope I can get it in the framing right. So you see David there playing his guitars. And then on the flip side, we have the lyrics here, so you can sing along to the record. Spend David Gilmour every week. Nice. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, like I said, this is a very, very beautiful album. And I don't know why I waited so long on listening to it, but definitely glad that I have it in my collection now. All right. And up next is a record that I picked up at work. You need to get his debut solo record. It's killer. Absolutely is. I do like that first solo record he did. So Far Away is probably my favorite track on that. I have the CD. I don't have the vinyl yet. If that gets reissued, I will definitely snag that ASAP. Anyways, I got this at the Books A Million location that I work at. I recently transferred over. And when I saw this in the vinyl section, I was like, all right, I've been looking for this for years. It's finally in front of me, and I am going to go ahead and snag it. keep your criticisms to yourself, because this is kind of a guilty pleasure, sort of. Lorde, Pure Heroine. I have a soft spot for Lorde. Not too big on her newer stuff. It's too kind of poppy for me. But this album here has a really nice minimalist production aesthetic that I really, really enjoyed. I got this on CD when I was a junior in high school, and I listened to it nonstop, and I really wanted the vinyl copy. And this is a really, really fun album to listen to. You have, of course, the song Royals. That's the one that everyone knows. Team, Glory and Gore, one of my favorites. Tennis Court, another great track. This is a really, really fun record to listen to. And it does come with a nice booklet as well, which features all the lyrics featured. And we have some pictures of Lorde herself. Let's see, there's another one. Here's another shot here. And yeah, but very glad to just finally own this. And like I said, it was one that has really been on my horizons for some time. Love Pure Heroine, but I haven't liked her other stuff either, but she's still growing. Yeah, she still is. You know, it's weird when that album had, because this came out, I believe, in 2013. Such a long gap, and yet it allowed a lot of time to really build up the hype. But I have not gravitated to the newer record that she just did. We'll see what the future holds. All right, now looking at what is up deck, we are now getting into the holiday, you know, kind of period where Black Friday had really kicked in, the holiday retail season has kicked off, and I got a lot of records within this time frame, so we have a long ways to go. This one up here is one that dropped on Amazon, and it just kept going and going and going down, and I managed to snag it when it was at its lowest, and I was like, all right, perfect timing, and for $11, you can't really complain. This is Jethro Tull 50th Anniversary Collection. This is just a bare bones 1 LP compilation featuring some notable Tull tracks. You have some non-album singles like Witch is Promised, Sweet Dream, you get Life is a Long Song, Living in the Past. And then you also get Bungle in the Jungle, Locomotive Breath, Beret, Aqualung. It's a rather, like I said, bare bones. This could benefit if it was a 2 LP compilation. So this right here is not necessarily essential, but if you want a dash of Tull in one go, this is what you go to. And also, the first 3 minutes to Thick as a Brick is not featured on this. I have a little issue with that, because that is like one of their most notable tracks, but it's whatever. But yeah, $11, why not? And even the sole fact that this came in a polyline sleeve even, like, surprised me. Isn't that shocking? But anyways, it's a rather cool release to have. The front cover is cool. There's all kinds of references to all their other album covers, which is really, really nice. But yeah, like I said, dash of Tull in one go. Can't really complain. And up next are some records that I got from a website called insound.com. They were running a sort of Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of sale. You've Got to Get Him Used to Death by Roger Waters on the 200 gram analog. Yes, I am aware of that 200 gram pressing. I believe it's on my Amazon list. I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks, which I understand it's Analog Productions. But perhaps one day I will snag that. I haven't even listened to it yet, and I feel like I'd really like it. Because usually Roger Waters solo stuff is much rooted in the traditional Floyd vein, so we shall see. 1,000 copies. Maybe I should jump on that now, actually, now that you guys mention it. So anyways, insound.com was running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of sale, and it was 60% off their entire vinyl stock, and I'm like, all right, let's see what's there. And they already did a 50% off sale in the summer, and I got a lot of stuff from there. So this time around, it was really a matter of just combing through what was there and what was missed from that 50% off sale that I got a lot of stuff from. And I managed to find 2 records that I really wanted, and I was able to snag. First up, we have Jethro Tull's A Passion Play. This was the follow-up to Thick as a Brick. Kind of follows the same structure in terms of one particular piece covering both sides of vinyl. But this album is just so out there. I mean, if you want to talk about Jethro Tull at their peak progressive wise, this is it. Um, it's an enjoyable record, and there's a lot of bits that are good, but I feel like if I listen to it a few more times, it'll definitely register better. It's just so shifting, and it changes so quick. This is a reissue, which features the stereo remix done by Steven Wilson, which is absolutely great. Comes in a nice gatefold cover. This photo was not featured in the original, but it is indeed a cool shot. And like all of the Tull reissues, there is a really nice booklet which replicates the artwork featured in the original album, and you also get some awesome live shots from the time frame and a bunch of liner notes talking about the period of the band and what was going on during the making of the album. Just a really, really nice insight into what was going on. And but yeah, if I listen to a little bit more, it'll definitely click better. But regardless, it still is a really fun album to listen to. And up next is an artist that I'm actually still trying to grow my collection of. I, of course, have every studio release of the band that he played drums in. You can probably guess what I'm talking about. This is Mr. Phil Collins. This is his second album called Hello, I Must Be Going. Kind of follows the same formula with his first album, Face Value, with a lot of ballads and really deep, heartfelt tunes. There is the cover of You Can't Hurry Love, which is catchy as all hell. I Don't Care Anymore, which is one of my favorites. Why Can't It Wait Till Morning, To Let Him Steal Your Heart Away. Cannot Believe It's True. It's a really, really fun album. Phil is a badass on drums. He sure is. This is a reissue, as you can tell, because there is the more modern-looking Phil on the cover, which is kind of a nice, interesting touch, because they reissued his entire catalog on CD and vinyl, and they've been using these different covers. If you're at all a purist when it comes to the originals, this might not appeal to you, but I kind of like it. And it also comes with a really, really fun gatefold cover with a bunch of Polaroids taken from the album sessions, which I think is absolutely cool. I love it when, there's artwork that's like that. So, awesome listen, and this sounds wonderful too. These Phil Collins reissues are excellent. Mastered at half speed, pressed very well. You won't be disappointed. And up next is a rather nostalgic record personally for me. This album I listened to endlessly when I was in middle school, and it was pretty much the soundtrack to my middle school years. This band even was probably one of my top favorite bands when I was a young preteen. They just reissued their first two albums back onto vinyl due to the eBay prices being ridiculous. I am talking about this band, which you probably have not heard of if you're watching this within the US, but if you live in Europe and especially England, you'll probably know these guys. This is the Kaiser Chiefs, Employment. This is their first album. This is a really fun indie alternative rock kind of album. Notable tracks on here are Every Day I Love You Less and Less, I Predict a Riot, Modern Way, Oh My God. This is a really, really, really fun album to listen to, and it just brought back so many memories. It's funny, when I was in middle school and high school, my best friend and I, we actually had a band. It was a two-piece band. It was like a White Stripes kind of thing. And I used to kind of joke we were essentially a Kaiser Chiefs cover band, because we did literally all the songs on this album, and just listening to it brought back a lot of those memories. Love Oasis better, though. Haven't gotten to Oasis yet. The Gallagher brothers, there's just something to them that it just hasn't clicked for me. But I know the hits, though, so one day. But awesome, awesome album to own, and I'm so glad that they reissued it. I would occasionally check the eBay and Discogs listings to see if original pressings would just appear at low prices just randomly, but that wasn't the case, so they went ahead and reissued it, and I had to pick it up. So awesome, awesome stuff. Then we have two records here that were actually sent to me by my godmother. I had to do some holiday favors for her in terms of like shopping and whatnot, because she wasn't able to make it in the area. And I know, please forgive me guys, no Oasis. So I had to do some holiday shopping for her, and she's like, oh, I'll pay you back. And I'm like, you could pay me back in one way. And she's like, how are we going to go about it? And I said, I'll send you some links, and we'll call it even. So I have 2 records here from that little package that came into my front door. And up front, first, we have AC/DC's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, classic early Bon Scott period album. This is a rather interesting album because you do have the title track that everyone knows, the very comical Big Balls, and one of my personal favorite AC/DC tracks, and probably one of the most avant-garde AC/DC tracks, Ride On. It is such a mellow Bon Scott period track. I absolutely love it. Crazy enough, this came out back in 1976, but the US got a release of it in like 1981 after Bon had passed and Back in Black was a major success, so it's weird how they kind of delayed the release of that record. This reissue also comes with a nice printed inner sleeve, which features all kinds of cool pictures and liner notes from the time frame. And this sounds absolutely great too. The AC/DC stuff is fun to listen to. Awesome stuff. And then up next is a rather raw and raucous live album from the 70s. I don't follow the politics much. I know he gets a lot of crazy flack, but you got to separate the art from the artist. This is Ted Nugent Double Live Gonzo. Man, oh man, this is a raw, fiery live album. This has stuff from his solo albums up at that point, so you get things like Cat Scratch Fever and Stranglehold and whatnot. You also get some newer tracks which made their debut on this album, such as what's on this, Hibernation and Yank Me Crank Me. And then you also get some stuff that he did with the Amboy Dukes called Baby Please Don't Go and The Great White Buffalo. Everything about this album is so raw, like the production, the way it sounds, the firecrackers you hear going off in the audience. It really puts you in place of the kind of atmosphere that would be, and this is just an absolutely crazy live album. Great to have it. Uncle Ted, he was my first one open for Kiss Circa. Nice. My dad actually saw Kiss. It was the Dress to Kill tour, and the Amboy Dukes had opened for them, so I can only imagine what it was like to be at that show. And up next is a release that came in from Jack White's label, Third Man Records. They were running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, and I finally was able to receive it before Christmas. It kind of took a while, but whatever. This is a 12-inch single edition of his song 16 Saltines, which is on his debut solo album Blunderbuss. And the flip side is a cover of U2's Love is Blindness, which I believe was used in the Great Gatsby film from 2012, I believe. But this is rather interesting, and I was aware of this for a long time, and I just never really picked it up sooner. Standard 12-inch black vinyl, but on the flip side, you have, see if I can get the angle right. There it is. There is a etched Third Man emblem, which is indeed playable. You can kind of hear like the stylus tracing around the etching. It's kind of raised just a tiny bit, but it doesn't take away from the listening, but you'll definitely hear it when the stylus is making its way around it. But it is a rather cool release to own, a very cool novelty record indeed to have, and plus also the song 16 Saltines is one of Jack White's finest solo moments. Alright, and up next we have a record that I picked up at my job, and every Friday in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, associates were able to get one item 40% off. I did pick up some things with that discount, which I'm going to show in a future video, which I should upload within the next couple weeks. It is absolutely awesome. Stay tuned for that. But at this point, I was really combing through and seeing what was there that I didn't have and what I was really wanting. And then I came to realize, to be technical, I don't have any live albums of this artist. I do have their Unplugged album, and that is live, but in terms of electric live, I didn't have anything, and I figured this is a good place to start. I am talking about Nirvana's Live at Reading. This is their performance at the Reading Festival in England from the summer of 1992. absolutely amazing live set. No filler whatsoever. It's all classics and deep cuts from the Bleach and Nevermind albums. There's also some stuff that would eventually end up on In Utero, and you'll also get some covers on the fourth side as well as like the encores. This is a really, really awesome live release to own. Mastered, I believe, by Chris Bellman and pressed to RTI, and this is just an absolutely great live release to own. Really recommend it. And up next is a band that is making major headlines in terms of the Golden Globes and the recent biopic that's come out. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Queen. This particular record dropped in price on Amazon so low that it was pretty much back ordered, and kind of had to wait a little while for them to restock. But at the price that it was at, I could not just let go of it. I was willing to wait as long as possible, and it came pretty much, I would say, a couple days before Christmas, actually. So it was a nice little early Christmas present of sorts. This is Jazz. This is their album from 1978. This, of course, features Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race, and Don't Stop Me Now. Everyone knows that tune. But you also get some other cool tracks on here, like Let Me Entertain You, Fun It, Leaving Home Ain't Easy, Mustafa, the album opener. Starts out in mono, but when the band really kicks in, it explodes in stereo, and it sounds absolutely killer on this. This is a reissue which came out in 2015, but Hollywood Records, their label here in the US, just put out this version fairly recently, I guess to coincide with the album's 40th anniversary. And yeah, for 13 bucks, why not? And, as you can tell, I don't know if you can really see, but the Jazz text here is embossed. You open it up, you have what is probably one of my favorite gatefold covers. All the guys in the studio with all their gear. And then we have a printed inner sleeve. Features a photo of the band there. And the song titles here. And then we have an insert, which I'll showcase next, which features all of the lyrics here. And then when you open it up, let's hope YouTube doesn't flag me for it, you get the infamous nude cyclers here, which were featured in the music video for Bicycle Race. Funny thing with this part of the packaging, I remember when I was a kid, I bought Jazz on CD at a Best Buy. Back when Best Buy sold CDs, remember that? And it's funny because my mom, obviously, I mean, she's a big Queen fan and she's aware of the artwork. She literally took the fold-out booklet that came with the CD and tore out the nude cyclers bit, and I just thought that was so interesting. But I think because I had listened to this album so much as a kid, this probably stands as one of my favorite Queen albums, just because I get so many memories thinking, you know, when I was listening to the CD version of this back when I was a kid, and it's just absolutely awesome to have. And then up next is another one of those records that I got 40% off on a Friday at my job. This was literally sitting on a table, like our vinyl table where we have like accessories and turntables and whatnot. It was just sitting there, and I remember it caught my eye when I first started there, and I'm like, oh, they have that. And I don't know why I didn't pick it up any sooner, but considering the price, it was kind of high considering what you get in it. But for 40% off, why not? This is David Bowie, A Reality Tour. This is a 3 LP box set of a show from, I believe it's Dublin, I believe, from his last tour in support of his studio album Reality. This was a fun listen because you get a lot of new stuff off of the Reality album as well as the one prior to that, which was, I believe that was called Heathen. And then, of course, you get the other classic Bowie tunes on here, like God Bless David Bowie. Yes, God bless him indeed. You get All the Young Dudes, Man Who Sold the World, Be My Wife, some really cool tracks. And then you get some really nice deep cuts on here, like Fantastic Voyage from the Lodger album, and then The Motel, which is from the Outside record, which is one of my favorites. I'll showcase the box a little bit. Open it up. Features the front cover, another insert which opens up. Right here, you have some pictures of Bowie, and then you have a pretty cool audience shot here. And all three LPs come with different labels of like different photos of Bowie. I'll showcase one of them just to show it. But this is pressed on rather nice, solid blue vinyl. Not really too solid, it's somewhat clear, but it is a nice piece of blue vinyl. And pressed to RTI and just mastered very well. Really, really nice. Considering how much is on the sides, it's like 25 minutes per side. So it's not too crammed in, but you may have to crank it just a little bit because I think it was cut rather low. But very happy to own this. Excellent, excellent stuff. Bowie, a reality tour. I'm telling you, I think live albums are a theme with this haul because up next is another live album that I got. This is a repress that came out back in 2014, and it's weird because slowly but surely, the vinyl reissues of this particular band are kind of going out of print and becoming hard to come by. So a Discogs seller was selling it for like $20 to $25, and I thought that was a decent price considering what it is and what you get. I am talking about Kiss Alive 3. This is the third installment in their Alive series, recorded on the Revenge Tour from 1992, and a overall solid track list. I mean, because you do get the non-makeup stuff like Lick It Up, Forever, I Love It Loud, Heaven's on Fire, but then you get some other classic Kiss tunes like Deuce, Watching You, what else is on here? Detroit Rock City. I mean, it's absolutely classic. The artwork is perhaps one of my favorites on Kiss live releases. You get a really cool live shot on the back here. And then when you open it up, you actually have a Kiss family tree, notating all of the bands that each of the guys were in. And then you get some photos and some credits on this side. Pressed on heavyweight vinyl, and this sounds absolutely killer. Really do recommend it. If you're interested in getting the Kiss reissues, I would say snag them up now because some titles, I think they press them up in small quantities, and then once they kind of sell that, that's pretty much it. That's not so much the case for some of the more notable titles like Love Gun, Destroyer, or the Makeup period for that matter. But I would definitely get these while you can because who knows if they will come back. Up next is another Amazon price drop. This actually came in, I believe this came in on the day of Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. I placed an order for this back in like November. It dropped to literally $9. And I just waited for a while on it. And Amazon even sent me an email saying, "Are you sure you still want this? Because we don't know when we're ever going to get it in." And I'm like, yeah, because if I don't get it, you know, it's not going to hurt, but it would be nice to have, considering the price that I ended up getting it for. This is Motley Crue's Greatest Hits. This is a 2 LP set featuring the essential tracks from the classic period Motley Crue lineup. So, of course, it's the lineup of Vince Neil, Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, and Mick Mars. You get tracks from all the 80s records, including Generation Swine. You get some tracks that were done on the compilation Red, White, and Crue, as well as their album that came out at the time, Saints of Los Angeles. Really awesome to have. Heavyweight vinyl. Sounds great. And yeah, for $9, you just cannot say no to that. Excellent, excellent stuff. And up next is one that I think I actually received on. I forgot about Crue's Greatest Hits. Gotta get it. Yes, definitely do. It's really, really awesome and a fun listen. This one I actually did get on Christmas Eve. It came in finally. Came from England, and I ordered it during Black Friday weekend. It dropped in price. This was on a website called youdiscovermusic.com. It was like $12, $13, couple bucks for shipping. I'm like, why not? This is Queen's The Miracle. This is an album that came out back in 1989. This, of course, features the song I Want It All. That's like one of the bigger later period Queen tunes. And then you also get some other amazing songs on here like The Miracle, The Invisible Man, Breakthrough, Was It All Worth It, which I think is one of their best works. I gotta say, this right here, the cover, is perhaps one of my favorite album covers of all time. I just love how it's the four of them joined as like one like unit pretty much, and I think it kind of coincides with the fact that like all the tracks were then credited to the full band at this point, because Freddie was diagnosed with AIDS with this record, and it just is a really, it shows that they're really trying to be a more solid unit as compared to how they were sort of in the past, and you can definitely sense that unity on this record. So very glad to own this as well. And now we are getting into the records that I pretty much had ordered. I would say this is before Christmas. This was within the campaign, The 12 Days of A-Smiths. You can probably guess what this is. I got these two records off of Ace Frehley's website for like $19. And I figured for that price and what they are and how they were kind of hyped up, I'm like, can't really complain. Up front first, we have Ace Frehley's Anomaly. This was his first full-length solo album, which came out back in 2009. First one that came out in a long time, actually. There is a really cool track on here called Outer Space, and then you also get his cover of Sweet's Fox on the Run. This is a special reissue which came out back in 2017, where you get some unreleased tracks and some other songs which were not featured on the original release of the album, but were on like the digital versions or whatever. The cover is kind of matte and glossy in places. Like you can see where it says Ace and the glasses here, it's kind of glossy. Gatefold cover opens up here. You have Ace with a flaming guitar, and you have his catalog here, which is kind of reminiscent of how they did like the gatefold in Kiss Alive, how it has the 3 albums there. That kind of reminds me of that. And I have not yet to play this, and it's still in the paper sleeve. But I gotta be very careful because I don't want to scuff it. This is pressed on very nice blue swirly vinyl, and it's also kind of clear as well, which is really nice. And I'll showcase the label on the other one, which is also because both records come with different labels. I don't know if I did Anomaly. Yeah, exactly. And then here's another cool custom label as well. And I believe this one has a little bit more blue. I'll take it out and show you. Why not? Being very careful. So there you go. Kind of more blue on this one. So we'll put this back. And then on top of this album, I also picked up his follow-up to that album, which was cool record, love the blue swirl. Yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. This is Space Invader. This came out back in 2014. You get the track Space Invader, Give Me a Feeling, his cover of the Steve Miller Band's The Joker, which is a really cool listen. Gatefold cover as well. Here's Ace right here. It's really that you mentioned where you order from, especially for living in the vinyl limbo when it comes to physical record stores. Yes, indeed, I'm telling you, it's like really down to the online retailers as to where you get these things. Because even there's that one local record store that I do the vlogs at, and that's kind of it in terms of my area and where I live in. It's crazy. I'm going to showcase one of the records here, because both of these records here look the same. But this is a recent repress done on clear vinyl. And this is limited as well. I'm not quite sure how many copies were made of this pressing. The Anomaly one is limited as well, but like I said, the amount was not specified. And now we are getting to the end of the line. Now these couple records here, we love your record store vlogs. Thank you very much, guys. I hope to do more in the future. I have some ideas on doing some other vlogs, maybe at other stores. It's all down to if they'll allow me, but definitely at the Rock Shop for sure. So these records here I got with Amazon gift cards that I got from Christmas. At this point, I was just kind of combing through and seeing what was missing in my collection, what I really wanted, and what I thought really appealed. So I went ahead and picked these up. So first, we have Emerson Lake and Palmer's Black Moon. This is an album that came out back in 1992, so this was when the band had reunited for the first time. This is actually a rather solid record from them. You get the title track, which is really good. You have the really rockin' Paper Blood, Affairs of the Heart, their version of Romeo and Juliet, Changing States, Farewell to Arms. I mean, this is actually a rather decent record, and it's funny because when I was a kid, my parents, they had this VHS tape, which was called Welcome Back, and it was talking about the history of the band, and it was filmed during this sort of reunion period. And a lot of songs off of this record were on that VHS tape, so that's kind of how I became very fond of this particular album. And then up next, we have one of the, I would say, the most underrated classics. This is Nick Drake. This is called Made to Love Magic. This is a sort of compilation album which features some of the last songs that he had recorded in the time when he was alive, and there's also some demos of some tracks that appear on his first and second album, I believe. It might just be the first album. And then you also get some remixes of some other notable tracks as well. This actually comes with a rather nifty booklet which features some liner notes talking about the material that is featured on this album, and some handwritten lyrics, and you also get some of the string scores that were done. Very, very nice, and there's a pretty cool picture of Nick there as well. And I gotta say, I mean, I think this is probably, because I do have Nick's other 3 main albums, and this was kind of a sort of completist thing of just gathering up whatever else was there. You Gotta Grab Down the Road, whatever, by Mark Knopfler. Not one bad song, it's incredible. Come down to 39.18. Wow, that is a major price drop. I'll definitely have to look into that for sure. But as I was saying, this is just essentially kind of clearing the attic and just getting whatever was left onto a release, and that's exactly what this pretty much is. Can't wait to give it a listen. Some of these last albums I'm showcasing I have not even listened to. I'm still working my way through the Christmas stuff I got. Up next this is a really good one. You guys will love this. This is another classic live album from the 70s. This perhaps defined the band at this point, and in a way it's kind of like a greatest hits live album when you look at the track list. This is Deep Purple, Made in Japan. Originally going to be a Japanese only release, but they went ahead and released it worldwide, and this is a phenomenal live record here. Recorded during the Machine Head tour, you get tracks like Highway Star, Child in Time, Smoke on the Water, Strange Kind of Woman, Space Truckin', Lazy. This is absolutely awesome. Comes with a nice, cool gatefold sleeve here. And this is a recent reissue that I was aware of. Purple Records, which is their own record label, they did a bunch of reissues of like the Warner Brothers period stuff, and all of it, including this record here, is pressed on a very aptly piece of Deep Purple vinyl, which looks absolutely wonderful. Looks really good on camera, I must say, and it looks even more amazing in person. So I would definitely try to seek this reissue out. Still is available. I'm not sure if it's limited. I would assume maybe. Not quite sure on that one, but definitely essential to have in your collection, especially if you love 70s hard rock. Absolute must-have. Deep Purple, Made in Japan. Now we are down to the last record here. This is one that I saw the artist. I might as well just showcase it now. This is Paramore, All We Know Is Falling. I have not bought any Paramore records for a while, and I have the second album, Riot, the third album, Brand New Eyes, and I was missing this, and I was like, you know what? Might as well go for it. This, of course, features the tracks All We Know, Pressure, and Emergency. A great piece of mid-2000s, I guess you can call it emo, pop punk, sort of. Really, really fun album, and it does come with a really cool insert with the guys there in the band, and some lyrics here as well. I have featured her before on my channel. My girlfriend, Samantha, aka the CD player, as she refers to herself as, she loves Paramore. So when it comes to spinning this, chances are she's probably going to be listening to it with me. Absolutely awesome album. Whew. For any of those that stuck around for this long haul, God bless you. I don't know how you guys sit through these things. That right there is my vinyl haul covering all the records that I got from November and December of 2018. If you enjoyed this video / live stream, please give it a like. And if you have not subscribed already, please do. Vintage Vinyl Events, because we love you, man. Hey, love you too. Thank you so much for all the support. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video.